Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise as Grand Marshal Scott G. Knowles, an associate professor in the Department of History, carries the Drexel University mace ahead of the faculty procession. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Task Force Dragon Honor Guard posts our national colors and the national anthem is sung by Rebecca Seiler. Afterwards, remain standing for the invocation by Minister David Piltz of the Open Door Christian Community on behalf of the Drexel University Interfaith Council.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning, President Fry, trustees, faculty, professional staff, honored guests, and of course, the incoming class of 2016. Welcome, and peace and blessings to each of you. Today marks the beginning of a new journey for us, a journey that is a continuation of our lives, a continuation of becoming the person we are meant to be both individually and collectively as a university. We take this moment as we begin Drexel's 125th year, recognizing our journeys are not accomplished alone. We take this moment to invoke the presence of our Creator, not only now, but also for the duration of our journey. A unique aspect of everyone's journey is that people come and go, but our Creator never leaves. And so we take this opportunity here today expressing gratitude and gratefulness that we will never walk alone. Today now marks for us the beginning of a new academic year in which we have committed ourselves to Drexel and being part with the administration, faculty, and professional staff to achieve the founder's vision of preparing each new generation of students for productive professional and civic lives while also focusing our collective expertise on solving society's greatest problems. As we create solutions to society's greatest problems, the Creator shines through us individually and as a community. We need to remember and recognize that in our actions, our words, our thoughts, and our interactions with one another, our Creator is present. How we accept and deal with ourselves and others is as important as solving today's greatest problems. May we always recognize the Creator in us as we recognize the Creator in others, and may gratitude, thankfulness, charity, love, joy, peace, perseverance, kindness, goodness, gentleness, and self-control guide us in all the ways and all that we do. Whether you are new to this family or already part of the family, you are joining a 125-year history of entrepreneurship and solving problems due to the great talent, scholarship, and leadership that our university community fosters. We are confident that we will continue to use these gifts ambitiously to the greater good of our society. A slogan of this year's Welcome Week is "Ambition can't wait." That is true. Ambition can't wait. The journey is not only academic, but it is life-changing as we grow into the image and vision our Creator has for us, and as we join the journey with everyone in this room. May our interactions with each other bear much fruit, and may we always have and take to others peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you today and always.
Please take your seats. Thank you for such a nice invocation. Good morning, distinguished guests, trustees, faculty, professional staff, colleagues, friends, and our entering student class. It's my deep pleasure to welcome you to the 2016 Drexel's Convocation and the start of our 2016-2017 academic year. Such a pleasure to, in my second year, to see so many familiar faces and such a wonderful turnout. But before I begin, let me introduce, recognize our two new academic leaders. Before I do that, my thanks to Dr. Spiros Mankarides for his dedicated service as interim dean. He returns to the faculty as a distinguished professor of computer science and technical fellow in the Auerbach Cybersecurity Institute. Please join me in thanking Dr. Mankarides. It's a deep pleasure to welcome our new Dean of the College of Computing Informatics, Dr. E. Dang. Please join me in welcoming him. Dr. Dang comes to us from the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, where he served 7 years as Dean of their College of Computing and Informatics. Dr. Dang's told me that he's energized by the region and he's excited about the prospect of moving our academic mission in computing and informatics forward, not only in the region, but internationally. So I'm looking forward to working with you. Although we will celebrate him more fully when he starts in February, I also want to recognize that we hired Dr. Paul Brand Ralph to be the inaugural Dean of Biomedical Engineering Sciences and Health Systems. He comes to us after serving 8 years as Dean of Public Health at University of Illinois, Chicago. I'm delighted that we have 2 new deans that are experienced in their role and have such a great connection to their colleagues in their disciplines. Drexel is such a dynamic place that summer often feels not much different than the academic year. In fact, I was in a meeting with students last week, and one of the students said, I don't have time to get my feathers to be ruffled. I'm too busy with the ridiculously fast-paced academic term in the quarter system. But after thinking for a moment, he paused for a second. He said, I think I like it. I hope you had the opportunity to refresh this summer. After my first year as provost, I must say that our 1-week vacation a couple weeks ago was much awaited. My wife and I and our 2 young boys spent 7 days at a family-oriented resort in Jamaica, my wife's birth country. She's from Jamaica. The resort had pools, the beach, water slide, and tons of food. I really took the opportunity to unplug and only really looked at my phone from the poolside. However, I did get a reminder of what I really love about Drexel. On my 3rd day, I was poolside and with my suntan lotion and headphones, and I'm delighted to say that I can maintain my tan all academic year. A gentleman walks in front of me poolside, and as luck would have it, he was wearing a Drexel t-shirt. It's just a reminder of the reach of our institution. His name is Kevin. He was a 2009 graduate of chemical engineering, and he now currently works at Merck Pharmaceutical. Being somewhat remote, we were about, 30 minutes north of Ocho Rios in Jamaica. I figured it had to be more than a coincidence that I saw someone with a Drexel shirt, poolside. So I spent about a half an hour talking to him about Drexel and about Philadelphia and his wife. His wife he met actually while he was a student here at Drexel. Although I told him, I only told him that I was a professor in computing informatics. I did ask him questions that I ask everyone. What is the best thing about Drexel, and what would you change about the institution? And without hesitation, he said the best thing about Drexel is cooperative education. And then I hesitated for a while, and he said the thing that he would change would be price. So we had a deeper discussion. And we talked about his educational experience, outcomes, his employability, and his ultimate placement. I think by the end of the conversation, he appreciated the value much more. But I think most students making a decision of which university to attend have no idea of how to understand what they really want or need in their undergraduate experience. Studies show that the decision is based on word of mouth from key influencers, student research and information gathering, interactions directly with the university, and perceived value. During this academic year, the Office of the Provost really wants to unpack this notion of perceived value. I believe most students don't really know how to evaluate the university either. Drexel has a wonderful story along these lines. We have a great story to tell. Breadth of programs, innovative programs, career preparation, positioning in an urban setting in the Northeast region. I think concentrating on articulating our value proposition naturally builds on accomplishments since our last convocation. Last year, I think being in the same spot, I suggested that we would do grassroots initiatives to sharpen and develop points of academic strength. I call these signature programs, and that could either be research, academic programs, extracurriculars, just what's really distinctive about Drexel. I'm delighted that over the past year, we made progress towards creating signatures by starting 2 university advisory committees, the UAC on Strategic and Interdisciplinary Research Signatures, and the UAC on Curricular Innovation, Resources, and Flexibility. I'd like to thank all of our colleagues who are participating in these 2 UACs. I was also delighted that we created the Drexel Area of Research Excellence, DARES, and the Market-Driven Academic Program Ventures, MPVs. And it was just a delightful year. We had over 400 faculty in both initiatives. We received 41 DARE proposals, 25 MPP proposals, and we just started to fund about $1.5 million in seed funds for these 10 projects. So it was just a great year. The information sessions were really energetic, and I just appreciate the community and very gratified by the community participating in these initiatives. The DARES include programs in advanced manufacturing, resource conserving materials, neuroinflammation and gender, gaming, simulation, and society, and studies around the innovation of cooperative education, which is both research and a way for us to, in some sense, promote the great laboratory we have for cooperative education. The MPVs include programs in creative writing, global health, peace engineering, transdisciplinary science, computing, engineering, and design. They call it Transcend because it's a mouthful, and urban strategy. In addition, we were going to provide specialized support for bioinformatics and business administration. Last year, we also informed you that we would create the enhanced recognition programs for faculty and students. I'm also delighted to share that we had 7 Provost Fellows working in the Office of Provost this past year. These fellows have engaged in really cutting-edge projects around cooperative education lifecycle, faculty mentoring, new alternative enrollment programs, new markets for graduate programs and research centers and participatory research and others. Finally, let me speak a bit about our new Dragon 24 Student Advisory Group. This is a group of students that have been working to enhance the academic culture from a student perspective. They're just an active bunch. They're self-forming. They came up with their own motto. They're hoping, they spoke to our executive committee members and faculty. They're really hoping to put together a Dragon Talks event later. It's almost modeled after a TED Talk. So I hope many of you will participate in that, because I think the main question they're going to be asking is everyone to talk a little bit about what they like about Drexel academically or within the city or any things like that. So we're hoping to chronicle that in such a way that we can share that to a much broader community. As I said, this year we will continue to amplify our efforts to spread the Drexel story in the Northeast, but also nationally through our outreach activities. The Office of Provost and the deans of the schools and the colleges, we're going to work more closely with enrollment management and student success to develop a well-defined academic strategy that really articulates our value proposition in the region, the country, and the world. I look forward to working diligently with all of you this academic year and really look forward to your partnership. As always, feel free to reach out to me by email or in person with your comments, ideas, suggestions, and I really wish you the very best for this new academic year. Thank you so much. To help us commence this celebration, I'm pleased to introduce Rich Grunewald, Chairman of the Drexel Board of Trustees, a 1966 graduate of Drexel. He is one of the university's most dedicated alumni and advisors, and he allowed my sons to go to his pool this summer, so welcome, Chairman Grunewald.
Thank you, Provost Blake. It is my special privilege to address this distinguished gathering as Drexel University prepares to celebrate its 125th year. Every convocation heralds a time filled with hope and promises for students, for faculty and professional staff, and for the wider Drexel community. But this year's milestone is also a time for us to celebrate and appreciate just how far we've come. Looking at how the campus has grown and developed into a model learning environment and a center of cutting-edge research, I sometimes wonder how our founder would marvel at all these changes. I know my fellow classmates at this year's 50th anniversary certainly did so. But just imagine if the legendary financier and philanthropist Anthony J. Drexel could step out of the 19th century and be here with us today. I can only trust that he would say that the Drexel University of today is just what he envisioned in 1891. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, then, please let me pledge to you our continued support for President Fry's mission to make Drexel a center of great scholarship, research, and entrepreneurship, and civic engagement. For the coming academic year, I wish all of you every success. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rich, for your remarks. It's so great to see everyone back and ready to go. This is one of my favorite days of the academic year. Convocation is such a venerable tradition, but like most traditions at Drexel, it's always being improved on. So this year we're convening for the first time in the Recreation Center. That's a tribute to the growing popularity of Convocation and a welcome new source of elbow room and air conditioning for a change. This is also the first year that our graduate students have joined our distinguished faculty in the procession, underscoring the prominence of our graduate programs that will welcome almost 2,500 new graduate and professional students this year. So for me, Convocation at Drexel definitely has a family feeling. Like most family gatherings, Convocation's a welcome chance for diverse branches of our large family of faculty and students and trustees and professional staff and alumni to come together and feel the communal pride of being one university. I should also add that numbered among our family gathering today are Drexel family descendants. I thank them for their legacy of generous support, for scholarships, the Drexel Collection, and so much more. Now, it's because of all of your collective accomplishments year in and year out that the unique Drexel experience is possible, and that fuels our growing recognition as one of America's great urban research universities. So Convocation is a chance for me to thank you all personally. It's also an opportunity to greet the newest members of our Drexel family, our new faculty, we'll be introduced to them later, and the incoming members of the great class of 2020, who start their first Drexel classes on Monday. This new class is one of the most distinguished and diverse we've ever had. As many of you know, 2 years ago, we made the difficult decision to voluntarily reduce the number of applications, which had reached an unwieldy 55,000 a year, so we can give each applicant the personal attention she or he deserves, and make sure what Drexel offers is a good fit with their needs and their expectations. We began this emphasis on getting the right students, and I'm happy to report that it's working. The current one-year retention rate for the class of 2015 is 88.7%, which is at an all-time high, and we think we'll make more progress from there. This year, we have admitted another freshman class very well suited for our university, and we're very, very excited about what they will accomplish. Convocation 2016 is also an historic milestone. It comes as the kickoff to Drexel's 125th year celebration. Even in a city as historic as Philadelphia, 125 years is a long time. Certainly long enough for a university to develop its own time-honored traditions. But our greatest tradition, I would submit, has always been innovation. That tradition goes back to our founder, Anthony J. Drexel. The famous banker and philanthropist founded Drexel in 1891 as the Drexel Institute of Art, Science, and Industry. And against the backdrop of America in the late 19th century, his goals for Drexel were innovative to the point of being radical. As the founder once put it, he wanted a Drexel education to be not only good, but good for something. He planted the intellectual seed for what would later become Drexel's cooperative education approach and make us a global model for combining academic depth and excellence with intensive career discernment and preparation. He also founded Drexel with the powerful idea that admission should not be limited by race, gender, religion, or socioeconomic status. That kind of inclusion is expected on all campuses in America today, but it was the exception in 1891. And I like to think that the head start we got 125 years ago set the stage for a strong commitment to inclusion and the kind of civic engagement that's such a big part of who we are today, especially here in Philadelphia. We remain hard at work on our goal of making Drexel the most civically engaged university in the United States. The Schuylkill Yards Innovation District we announced this spring is a major step toward that goal. With our partners investing billions of dollars of development costs, we are free now to take the intellectual lead in a project that will transform the gateway to Drexel into a multi-purpose innovation district with academic and commercial buildings and a magnificent public park to be known as Drexel Square. Schuylkill Yards will create substantial long-term employment opportunities for our neighbors in Mantua and throughout West Philadelphia, not by chance, but by design. And as it develops over the next 2 decades, it will result in new co-op jobs for our students and research and commercialization opportunities for our faculty. So right now it's time to hear from our guest speaker, who's traveled across the country to be with us this morning. In his 14 years as president of Arizona State University, Michael Crow has enthusiastically taken on the mission of transforming Arizona State into the model of a public research university that measures itself by inclusivity and not exclusivity. Despite the familiar challenges of rising costs and shrinking public funds, he has moved mountains in terms of offering students from low-income families a high-quality education delivered in so many innovative ways. His creative use of technology and strategic partnerships has bolstered Arizona State's academic reputation and landed him on Time magazine's list of the 10 best university presidents. Suffice it to say that he is one of the most respected agents of change in American higher education today. And when they write the book about this generation of leadership, in my mind, he will go down as the most significant change agent of all. So please join me in welcoming my mentor and my friend and today's convocation speaker, Dr. Michael Crow.
Thank you, John, and thank you for the invitation to be here on such an important day. I can't help but remember the same day that I had 43 years ago when I showed up to college. My dad, trying to get my Apple Watch to work here. It works. My dad was really mad at me. I'd been admitted to the Air Force Academy and decided not to go. I came from a working class family, and he said, you know, they pay for everything there, your clothes, your food, your books, your tuition. They give you a summer job, and they guarantee you a job when you're done. What are you in? I didn't raise an idiot. Why aren't you going there? I decided to go to another college, and he drove me. I was only 17. I didn't have a car. He drives me to Iowa State University, where I was going to be a javelin thrower, which I was. And so, but he didn't speak to me. That's a 6-hour drive. We slept in a relative's driveway that night before he took me up to Iowa State, and it was the day that he could drive me. And I remember this vividly, like it was yesterday. We arrive, he pulls up to the dorm. I pull out my trunk in which every worldly possession I had was located from working at Boy Scout camp. It was my Boy Scout trunk. And he said, well, maybe we'll see you at Christmas. Okay. Unfortunately, who's a student? Who's an incoming student? Yeah, unfortunately, I was 5 days early. So I show up at the dorm and the room's not ready. And I sort of have a situation. I don't actually have any money on me, like $5. They said that the dorm would have food, and so that's what I was going to eat. And so I remember them saying, well, you look like you're strong, maybe you can work helping us to set up beds. So I got a job within like 30 minutes of arrival. They had some little place for me to stay. And then I remember something which is actually something I remember so vividly, it's actually what I'm going to talk about today. So after those 5 days, I remember going over and signing up and getting ready, and you go into this room and they say, well, what do you want to study? What's your major going to be? I said, major? What's a major? No one in my family had ever been to college. I mean, literally, I'm like, what's a major? Well, like what you want to focus on. I said, well, how would I know? I'm only 17 years old. How would I know? Here's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in engineering. I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in linguistics. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in a whole bunch of things. So I want to major in all of those. And the lady sits there and she goes, well, you can't do that. You got to pick one thing. I said, who came up with that? I was like a little sort of argumentative kid. Who came up with the notion you had to major in one thing? What idiot came up with that idea? So remember that. That's 43 years ago. Iowa State University, which is a science and technology-oriented university. And so my thinking became seared. So I ended up majoring in several things. I ended up majoring in science and social science and taking lots of engineering courses and taking 60 hours of independent study as an undergraduate because the faculty ultimately just sort of gave up on me and said, well, yeah, just write a paper and turn it in and we'll grade it. You guys that came in as freshmen, you'd like this. But here's the problem. We have a problem realizing where we're sitting. Drexel University, right here today in Philadelphia. We are sitting inside one of the single most important types of institutions human beings have ever built. And we're at one of the best of those. And what do I mean by that? Well, in all of the eons that we've been developing as a species, in the latter recent years, we decided to build these things called universities where we gather eminent thinkers and dreamers and communicators and conceptualizers and designers, and we bring them together into these institutions called universities, and we do this so that we might gather with those people learners. And we do that so that at the end of the day, our single most important purpose as an institution is to literally create the future by establishing the learning process that we implement and allowing new designers of that future to be emerged. That is the process that we are engaged in. And this particular institution, Drexel, for those of you coming in as students, you may not know this, that you're sitting now as a part of one of the last remaining free, independent universities not trapped in the box of playing a game wherein the entire identity of the institution is built on who you didn't admit. This is an institution with a purpose. This is an institution driven by its founder to its present day to do something, to make a difference. Now let me take that cliche of make a difference and put some edge on it. John's office was bugging me for a while, and my staff was bugging me saying, they want a title, they want a title, they want to know what you're saying, they want to put it in a book. I said, I don't know what I'm going to say until I stand up, but I'll send them a title. So the title I sent was Inventing the Future through Design. Inventing the Future through Design, the Ultimate Art. And I'm going to come back and play on those words, particularly for you new freshmen coming in, but also for the faculty and the board and the staff that are here. Because what better place than Philadelphia, the city in which the process of the design of our country was actually put down onto blueprints. Before that, there was argument, conflict, war, everything that you can imagine. And then there were blueprints. A design conceptualization emerged in this place, the Constitution of the United States. There's a bunch of people that think that it's somehow a fixed thing that you need to pay attention to as if it's the Bible. It's a living design. It's an interactive design. It's a living, breathing thing that was created in this city. So this city in and of itself has and could claim and should claim that this is where it started. This is where the design emerged. Now this design way of thinking is very different than the way that most colleges and universities work. Most colleges and universities and I'm not putting Drexel into this category, are bureaucracies run by rigid thinkers who believe that their principal role is to protect some small piece of the institution. Like when I went to college, you can only major in one thing. You have to follow this path. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. That the learning process is somehow a process of like engaging with a government agency to figure out your learning path. So this notion of inventing the future through design and creating that through the process of what I call the ultimate art, this is a space in which this university, Drexel, the university that I'm a part of, Arizona State, are trying to forge a new direction. Can you create an institution in which the product is not an engineer or a scientist or an accountant or an artist? Literally, the faculty, I can't even look at the faculty when I say this because I'll just be getting some darts back from them maybe. Really? You want to call a 21-year-old product of your college an artist, an engineer, a scientist? As opposed to those are the skills that they have learned through so that they are now an enabled designer. So I'm going to come back to that. And so this is an institution, I think, where the future can be created through design by recognizing that, in fact, the learning process is in and of itself, this is why I use the term ultimate art, an art. The learning process is not a science. You may learn science, but you don't learn it technically. You learn it in a completely new and differentiated way by finding a way to do something very, very different. Now, I'm going to speak directly to the freshmen as a way to try to articulate this point. Now, this is a point that shoots over the head of lots of people. They'll say, I have no idea what that man is talking about. So I'm going to talk directly to the students. So how many of you are here to study? How many of you are here to get a degree? How many of you think your degree will get you a job? How many of you are really hopeful that your degree will get you some kind of job? And I'm going to say that's all good, but that's actually a secondary variable. The faculty who are sitting up here in front, in my view, have one assignment. Their assignment is to create an environment in which you as a student can become a master learner, a person capable of learning anything. You may find that path of learning on an engineering track. You may find that path of learning on an art history track. You may find that path of learning studying philosophy or science or chemistry or information technology. Let me tell you, that doesn't make any difference. The learning path doesn't make any difference. What makes a difference is that you find a way to evolve yourself into being a master learner. Now, it turns out that the core of the spirit of Drexel, from founding forward, from the civic mindedness, from the things that President Fry just said about emerging as the greatest American university, deeply connected to its city and the success of its city, that becomes the design platform, the design focus, and the process is the creation of this learning environment. Now, how many of you as incoming students think of yourselves now as master learners, capable of learning anything? Yeah, no one's going to raise their hand. Even if they think it, they're not going to raise their hand. But now imagine that somehow in your learning environment with this faculty, in this city, with the cooperative programs, with the internship programs, with the connection programs, with the linkages, with all the things that are going on and all the problems that you can work on, imagine the entire institution was devoted to nothing but your success at mastering the process of learning. If that occurs, One thing then I know is certain, that all this gibberish that you hear out in the political discourse around the United States and elsewhere these days, gibberish, 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 arguing, gibberish, back and forth. Anybody heard any of that? None of that's about design. None of that's about solving the real deep-seated problems. Let me give you an example of a problem. Is it possible to create technologies from an institution like Drexel that actually think about, at the time that the technology is emerging, the social, cultural, and economic consequences of that technology, such that one could derive technological progress without massive disruption of the society, so much so that we end up with societies that are completely fragmented around the technological progress that the society has made? Now, how many of you students believe you could answer that question right now and produce those kinds of technologies? None of you. How many of you think that you'd be able to do that just by studying engineering? You won't be able to. Just by studying science, you won't be able to. Just by studying art, you won't be able to. And so the point that I'd like to make in this convocation, which is this gathering for initiation of this faculty and this student body, is that the opportunity exists in a significant way to have a changed mindset at Drexel. What do we do at Drexel? We produce master learners. What do those master learners do? They create the future. How do they create the future? Differently than the other hard, rigid, fixed institutions. We're committed to the city. We're committed to the city and its future. We're committed to doing things in which humanity is lifted while the economy is grown at the same time, where fairness is a product. I don't know how you measure fairness. It's so difficult. People often say that it's not measurable, but you all know what it means. And so the point is that to you students, you have dropped in, you are parachuted in to one of the most significant institutions that exists, with a faculty that has assembled to devote their lives to you. And the one outsider advice that I would give to both the faculty and to the students is focus on mindset. The mindset of creating master learners and driving forward with those master learners to the title that I was asked to give, to invent the future through design, the ultimate art, the art of learning. Thank you.
Please join me in another round of applause for President Curl. We really appreciate your inspirational remarks. I think there's probably no better way to encourage us at the beginning of the year to think about how we're going to produce master learners here at Drexel. Secondary takeaway for me is maybe I can take my son to school 5 days early to encourage him to get a job. Right. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Ludo Scheffer, teaching professor in psychology in the College of Arts and Sciences and chair of the Faculty Senate. Dr. Scheffer.
Good morning. Unlike Provost Blake, I did not go to Jamaica, as you can tell. And I also did not submit my speech because they've stopped asking. So my speech is titled Drexel, Bonn University, the Final Frontier. Yeah, I am not really a Trekkie, nor do I subscribe to Star Wars, but it kind of sounds good. Chairman Greenewald, members of the Board of Trustees, President Fry, Provost Blake, distinguished guests, colleagues, staff, and students, in particular, the new students to Drexel. Before I get going, I am under tremendous pressure. The vice chair of the board is on my Facebook page, and he said, I'm looking forward to your speech. The chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Greenewald, told me to keep it brief, as always, gently nudging me. And President Fry last year laid down a dare to me to get the faculty riled up. So you can imagine the pressure I feel. Now, the riling up is really easy because I could make up a story that you're not getting a raise. All right, so here we go. Hold on to your seats. My talk will go fast, just as our academic quarters do. You may recall that during my first convocation as chair in 2013, various stakeholders of the university tried to put together a puzzle of a dragon together on the stage, symbolizing the efforts needed of all constituencies to create one university, the vision of the president. The realization of the vision required a search-together process of faculty, administration, staff, and students in which we work collaboratively from idea formation all the way through implementation and formative evaluation. Thus, I argued, shared governance and shared stewardship only work when we are on the same page at the beginning of every journey. And since that time, we have undertaken some journeys together. Civic engagement is slowly embedded not only in our teaching, but also in our research. RCM, Responsibility Center Management, and of course all of you are now aware that it is live. Enrollment management, and now called enrollment management and student success, as it includes many more aspects than just enrolling students, such as early warning, advising, etc. And there are many more initiatives. Slowly but steadily, this university is pivoting in the right direction laid out by the president. This pivot is not without growing pains, as we also try to determine what is the right size for our university. But in all these journeys, we are working together to create a better experience. We are making progress, and shared governance and shared stewardship within the university is farther along than the most optimistic skeptic would foresee. We have some ways to go and some fine-tuning to engage in, but I would argue that we are now at least taking the same journey together. So we are just changing the way we do business, the ways in which we support and encourage research, the way we become an integral part of the fabric of the Philadelphia environment to become a true urban university, unlike many other universities in cities that call themselves an urban university, and the way we recruit, enroll, and support all students towards their graduation. We are taking the turn. There is still a long road to go, but I will argue the turn of the university also is not complete. And this brings me to our activity that I planned for today. I just couldn't resist. I already hear some groaning. So the first time I did a convocation puzzle activity in 2013, the participants were key university stakeholders on stage, and everybody else could have fun at their expense. Yep, we could not put the puzzle together the first time around. There is video footage of that. Trust me, don't go there. This time I'm asking you all to participate to meet President Fry's DARE. Different from the Provost's DARE initiative. So the activity will be brief. I promise it will be purposeful and it will go fast. So are you game? Are you ready to play along? Is everybody ready? All right, so here we go. I am in the psychology department, I can't help that. So please close your eyes for a moment. Don't worry, nothing will happen to you. We won't do anything, take any pictures. But please close your eyes all for a moment. I'm going to ask all of us to imagine the new academic year. Imagine a major lead donor gift for a new sciences building. Imagine a new partnership of healthcare systems and Drexel. Imagine all the wonderful civic engagement endeavors, the great partnerships with companies that make Schuylkill Yards take off. Imagine construction and renovation of lab spaces and classrooms. Imagine new patents and breakthroughs in research. Imagine new academic initiatives. Imagine how we are going to have another great year, starting with a great fall term. And imagine this fall term. Imagine the excited students who are in your classes, who are eager to learn, to discuss, to think, to critically examine, to reflect, to start thinking about tackling great challenges in great projects, starting on Monday. Now, on the count of 10, you may open your eyes. Week 1, week 2, week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, exam time. Stressful, huh? So after all the other aspects of the academic enterprise that we have looked at, I believe that it is time for us to re-examine the academic calendar and have a broad-based discussion with all constituents this coming year about how to do this. The plan for curricular change is the following year and then implement them the next year. It's a longer process. There are lots of arguments to be made that, academically, academic research, educational, all that support that. It's not an easy process. Think about it. One thing that will also have to be adjusted is your parking permit. So, for the sake of time, I'm very mindful of time. I would like to think that re-examining the academic calendar would further strengthen stewardship, governance, and a new discussion. And most of all the academic and all the other arguments are important, but the mental health argument for me is what wins the case. To less stress, starting with a freshman year. It's a complex operation, from academics to advising, et cetera, but celebrating Drexel's 125th year, the year of the university, it is the right time to start this journey together. May the dragon be with you this new academic year.
I'm delighted to introduce Tony Noche, the chair of Drexel Alumni Board of Governors and a Drexel trustee. Tony is a 1980 graduate of the College of Engineering. He is also an attorney and has his own commercial real estate development consulting company. He brings greetings from the Drexel's alumni.
Thank you, Provost Blake, and good morning. It's an honor to be here representing the more than 150,000 Drexel alumni around the world. From my time as a student until now, my connections to Drexel have shaped the fabric of my life. As a student, I was involved in Greek life, student government, and professional societies. I met my wife here, and 3 of our children are Drexel alumni as well. We are moving our youngest son into University Crossings tomorrow to begin his sophomore year. As an alumnus, I continue to be involved in Greek life as an officer of my fraternity alumni corporation. And as many other proud alumni, I continued expanding my connections to Drexel through the Drexel Alumni Board of Governors, the organization that I am proud to serve as chair today. From these experiences, I know firsthand how much there is to be proud of as this remarkable institution. My story is not unique among Drexel alumni, and I share my Drexel pride with our alumni all over the world. We are indelibly shaped by our peers who became our lifelong friends, the outstanding education we received, and the dedicated faculty members who taught, mentored, and inspired us. My fellow Dragons and I are deeply proud of Drexel's growth and transformation over the years, and the exciting vision for his future as we celebrate the university's 125th anniversary. Our keynote speakers and all of you here today represent the university's commitment to achieving ever greater levels of excellence, accomplishment, and innovation. Drexel's Alumni Board of Governors is committed to engaging our close-knit alumni community as a key partner to the university's continued success. So on behalf of my fellow alumni, congratulations on the start of the new year. Welcome to all our new students and employees. Welcome back to everyone who returns for another year, and good luck. Thank you.
This university exists to serve one of the most outstanding groups of students in the nation. Drexel students are represented by several student governmental organizations, and I'd like to welcome some of their leaders. First, Brittany Tuccaroni, president of the Undergraduate Student Government Association, will offer greetings on behalf of the undergraduate students of the university.
Thank you, Provost Blake. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, staff, faculty, administrators, member of the Board of Trustees, and my fellow students. My name is Brittany Tucciaroni, and I'm the president of Drexel's Undergraduate Student Government Association. I'm excited and honored to be standing before you today representing Drexel's undergraduate student body. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to this monumental ceremony and in which we are kicking off a year full of significance. Recently, a friend shared with me a word that he found significant to him. The word is sonder, and although it's not recognized in the National Dictionary, it has been used by John Koenig, the author of the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, to describe the understanding that as you see people, you realize that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. They have their own life and path experiences that have shaped who they are today. As we welcome the freshman class onto our campus, and as the upperclassmen continue their journey through their Drexel experience, I encourage everyone here today to think of the paths that each student is on. Whether you're part of Drexel's faculty, a distinguished member of the Board of Trustees, administration, or a student yourself, each and every one of you will have an opportunity to impact a fellow dragon here at their time at Drexel. Our university presents its students with the opportunity to take their path in many different directions. Whether that leads them to a program abroad or closer to home, this is only possible because of the encouragement that we receive from our Drexel community. That's the beauty of Drexel. Drexel's different, and we get to walk down these different paths together. And at the end of our time on campus, our paths will converge once more at commencement, where we can reflect on the time we've spent here together. I'm excited to see what this historic 125th year will bring not only to my path, but to everyone else's who is at Drexel today. And as I start my senior year, I hope to see fellow dragons who once, along the way, invoked a feeling of sonder, but are now someone who's also a friend. I challenge everyone here today to look around and not only at your path, but the paths of those who are sitting next to you. Whether it's your first year at Drexel or your last, each of us is more than a passerby. We are each a part of this unique and lasting Drexel experience, which will have a lasting and uniting impact on the lives that we share together. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Now I'd like to invite Jerry John Neuter, President of the Graduate Student Association, to offer greetings on behalf of Drexel's graduate students.
Right, thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be here to deliver this year's convocation remark on behalf of the Graduate Student Association, and thank you for having me. First of all, I want to thank you and welcome you into the new academic year, especially the new faculty and the new staff, and also the new graduate students that are joining us for the first time. I want to say congratulations to you all, and we are glad that you can join us and also move our education at Drexel forward. I will also want to use this opportunity to congratulate the whole Drexel community for actually achieving a great milestone of 125th anniversary. And I believe higher education in 125 years is a great achievement, and we have to be proud of ourselves for the things that we have achieved over the years. So congratulations. I also want to urge the Board of Trustees and the leadership of this university to continue to set goals that will actually enhance teaching, learning, and research in our university so that we can all move forward and achieve greater things ahead of us. I also want to thank you, faculty and professional staff also, for all that you have been doing in our lives. You might just think you are doing just your role, but I want to tell you that you are affecting the life of graduate students in many ways, and we are affected, and these roles actually affect our memories, and we shall continue working together with you and continue to partner with you, because we believe that the graduate work in a university like this is very important, and we shall continue to move teaching and research forward in our university. I want to personally thank Dean Herbert, Provost Blake, actually, for the leadership role, and also the staff of the Graduate College for the tremendous role that you are actually doing in the life of graduate studies in this university. Personally, I call myself a product of a good mentoring because I'm from a very humble beginning, and I actually count on people ahead of me, and people like these and the faculty of this university are continually playing a major role in our life and also in my life. So I want to thank all of you. With that being said, I just want to lay out the programs and the activities that we have in this academic year. We want to continue advocating for the concerns and the need of the graduate student in this university, and also partnering with the leadership, the faculty, and the staff of this university to make graduate education in this university one of the best in our country. I also want to tell you that one of my aim and the aim of our Graduate Student Association this year is to serve as a big brothers and sisters for the undergraduate student who might be interested in coming to graduate school. We want to mentor them, encourage them, provide the necessary information that they need to be able to get into graduate school, because some of us, it was difficult for us before we came this way, and it's through mentoring, and we want to make sure that we actually give back to the society, and that is the best way we can do that. Thank you. We will also continue, and we'll continue to organize programs that will enhance communication between graduate student and faculty, and especially leadership. And we have started this, and as I said, we have a very great relationship with the provost, the dean of graduate college, and the other staff of the graduate college. So we hope to continue organizing academic and interprofessional programs that will help our colleagues and ourselves to be able to graduate from this university and be proud of this university, even as we are studying in this university. I am proud to be here because of the diversity and also the collaboration and the sense of urgency that the staff and the faculty attach to their work, and I really appreciate all of you. With that said, we cannot do all this without collaboration with you, the faculty, the staff, and the leadership. So I want to tell you that we'll continue knocking at your doors, and we expect that you gladly open your doors unto us as we continue to plan for this academic year and make sure we achieve great things in the history of this university, as this is a very important year, 125th anniversary. I love a popular proverb, African proverb, and I want to conclude my speech with that. It says that if you want to go fast, or if you want to run fast, you go alone. And if you want to run far, go together. I'll repeat that again. If you want to run fast, you go alone. And if you want to run far, you go together. I want to wish you all in this academic year, and happy 125th anniversary. Long live Drexel University. Long live United States of America. May God bless you all.
We're so fortunate to have Brittany and Jerry representing our students. I hope you'll take them both up on their offer to meet with them and keep them in your conversations as you talk about the future of the institution. Each year at this ceremony, we ask our deans and directors to welcome the new full-time faculty who have joined us and recognize our returning faculty. I ask that each new faculty member stand when his or her name is called. After all new faculty are introduced, the returning faculty of the academic unit will also be asked to stand. Please remain standing until your dean or director finishes, and I ask that the audience hold applause until all the faculty of that college are standing. Now I'm pleased to introduce Dean Donna Marasco of the College of Arts and Sciences.
During this 125th anniversary of Drexel University, I am pleased to welcome the new faculty to the 25-year-old College of Arts and Sciences. In anthropology, Amber Reed. In biodiversity, earth and environmental science, Dr. Amanda Lowe. In biology, Dr. Roman Fisher. In communication, Susan McGee and Scott Tatter. In global studies and modern languages, Sumi O and Hiromi Kiyama. In history, Dr. Gabriel Rocha. In physics, Dr. Eric Brew. And in sociology, Dr. Kevin Mosby. I request all the returning faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences to rise, and please join me in welcoming all the faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Kenneth Barbie, Interim Director of the School of Biomedical Engineering, Science, and Health Systems.
It is my pleasure to welcome the new faculty to the School of Biomedical Engineering, Science, and Health Systems. Dr. Catherine Von Rijn, Assistant Professor in Biomedical Engineering. Please join me in welcoming her and the rest of the Biomedical faculty. Please rise. Thanks. It's my pleasure to introduce Dean Frank Linehan of the Bennett LeBeau College of Business.
Thank you, Ken. It's my pleasure to introduce two new faculty from the LeBeau College of Business, James Rainier, Assistant Clinical Professor of Accounting, and Dr. Tristan Potter, Assistant Professor of Economics. Now join me in welcoming all our new faculty. Please rise. Now I'm pleased to introduce the new Dean of the College of Computing and Informatics, Dr. Yi Deng.
I am pleased to introduce the new faculty in the College of Computing and Informatics. Dr. Vassilis Gazelis, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science. Dr. Jake Williams, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Sciences. Please join me in welcoming them and all our faculty. With the rest of the Computing and Informatics faculty, please rise. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Dominic Gullo, Associate Dean for Research of the School of Education.
On behalf of Dean Nancy Songer, Dean of the School of Education, I am pleased to introduce the new faculty of the School of Education. Would you please rise as I say your name and remain standing? Dr. Alonzo Flowers, Assistant Professor in Higher Education. Dr. Joy Phillips, Associate Clinical Professor in the EDD program. Dr. Janet Sloan, Associate Clinical Professor in Special Education. Dr. Christopher Wright, Assistant Professor in Science Education. Please join me in welcoming them and the rest of my colleagues from the School of Education. With the rest of the School of Education, please rise. I am pleased to introduce Dean Joseph Hughes of the College of Engineering.
It is a pleasure today to introduce new faculty in the College of Engineering. When I read your names, please rise. Dr. Simi Hoke, Dr. Shannon Capps, and Dr. Yaghub Farnum, all new professors in the College of Engineering. Please join me in welcoming them to our faculty. Now I would like the rest of the faculty of the College of Engineering to rise and be recognized. Welcome back. It is my honor to introduce Dean Donna DeCarolis of the Close School of Entrepreneurship.
In collaboration with my good friend and colleague Lucy Kerman, and through a joint appointment with the Dornsife Center for Neighborhood Partnerships In a role that integrates both entrepreneurship and civic engagement, I am pleased to introduce our newest faculty member of the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship, Professor Scott Cattell, Director of Social Entrepreneurship. Please join me in welcoming Scott and the rest of the Close School faculty. I am pleased to introduce Dean Paula Morantz Cohen of the Pannoni Honors College.
The Pannoni Honors College does not have faculty of its own, but draws its faculty from across the university. So I would like to ask all those who have taught or mentored for the Pannoni Honors College to please rise. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Paul Jensen, Interim Director of the Center for Hospitality and Sports Management.
I am pleased to introduce the new faculty in the Center for Hospitality and Sport Management, Jazreen Sakon, Assistant Professor of Food Science. Please join me in welcoming her and all our faculty. Would the rest of the faculty please rise? I am pleased to introduce Dean Roger Dennis of the Thomas R. Klein School of Law.
I'm pleased to introduce our new faculty member, Professor of Child Advocacy, Jared Rosenblatt. And please join me in welcoming all of our returning faculty. Would they please rise? Good job, Dan. I'm pleased to introduce Dean Alan Savinson of the highly ranked Antoinette Westfall College of Media Arts and Design.
I am pleased to introduce the new faculty of the Westfall College of Media Arts and Design. Please rise when I call your names. Christine Baiza, Assistant Teaching Professor, Design and Merchandising. Michelle Bradsher McHugh, Director of our Online Graduate TV Management Program. Derek Gilman, Distinguished Teaching Professor, Art History. Jaeyoon Jung, Assistant Teaching Professor, Fashion Design. Jackie Kilmartin, Assistant Teaching Professor, Fashion Design. William Mangold, Assistant Teaching Professor, Interior Design. Raja Shah, Assistant Professor, Product Design. And Dr. Delia Solomon, Assistant Professor, Art History. Please join me in welcoming them and all of our faculty, and will the rest of the Westfall faculty please rise. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean Daniel Shinlow of the Drexel College of Medicine.
Thank you and good morning. And it's only right that medicine should follow art and fashion. I would like, on behalf of the entire faculty of the College of Medicine, my esteemed colleague, the Dean of the School, the Graduate School of Biomedical Science and Professional Studies, Dr. Elizabeth von Boxtel, I would like to welcome our new faculty and our returning faculty. Our faculty is multitudinous. We have 500 full-time faculty and 2,000 plus adjunct faculty, most of whom are lined up outside in their buses because they couldn't get in. I would like to recognize three individuals who have joined us in the past year. Dr. Linda Berardi Demo, our Associate Dean for Enrollment and Admissions. Dr. Christine Sestone, our Associate Dean for Assessment. And Dr. Ana Nunez, who is joining us in a new role as Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. The members of the faculty, please stand and be recognized. It is my pleasure to introduce Interim Dean Susan Smith of the College of Nursing and Health Professions.
I'm pleased to introduce the new faculty of the College of Nursing and Health Professions, if you'd rise when I say your name. Natalie Carlton, Abby Doherty, both from the Creative Arts Department, Chalmers Clark, Kevin Mitchell from Health Administration, Michael Bruneau, Stephen Samdinger from Health Sciences, Rita Adarian, Glenn Murphy, Megan Shattuck, Denise Way from Nursing, Joseph Quijas from Nutrition Sciences, Allison Rousseau from Physician Assistant, Glenn Williams, Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Sciences, and Annette Wilkins from Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Sciences. Please join me in welcoming them, and with the rest of the faculty from the College of Nursing and Health Professions rise. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Yvonne Michael, Associate Dean for Academic and Faculty Affairs from the Dornsife School of Public Health.
Good morning. On behalf of Dean Anna Diaz-Rue, I am pleased to introduce the new faculty of the Dornsife School of Public Health. In the Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics, Associate Professor Gina Lavasi, Assistant Professor Harrison Quick, and Professor Scarlett Bellamy. In the Department of Community Health and Prevention, Assistant Professor Allie Groves. In the Department of Environmental and Occupational Health, Assistant Professor Tran Nguyen, Assistant Professor Leah Shinazi. And in the Department of Health Management and Policy, Assistant Professor Ryan McKenna. Please join me in welcoming them and all our faculty. With the rest of the public health faculty, please rise. Thank you. I'm pleased to introduce Dean James Herbert of the Graduate College.
Thank you and good morning. The faculty from across the entire university, all the colleges and schools, support our graduate students at Drexel University. I'd like to invite all faculty members who mentor and teach graduate students across the university to please rise and be recognized. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for attending Convocation. Please rise and join Rebecca Seiler in singing the first verse of the Drexel Ode, which can be found in the program. Then please remain standing as Professor Knoll retires the mace and the stage party leaves the auditorium. When the stage party has exited, please join them for a reception through the north doors to the Tenet Fitness Plaza. I wish you all the best in this new academic year. Thank you.
Hail, Drexel, hail to thee, accept our praise. To thee a joyful song thy children raise. Thou to their watching eyes art guiding star, bright with illuming rays, shining afar.
Thank you.